what you want.
Welcome back, No Means Nerds, No Means Nobody, No Means No Nicks, to the No Means No Thing, No Means Nothing podcast. The podcast where three absolute fucking idiots try their hardest to figure out the very best No Means No song of all time. I mean, spoilers, there isn't one. I'm one of your hosts, Jordan.
I'm Matthew. Hi.
I'm Michelle, and I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah. And turd waiting. So,
Well, then get out of the waiting pool. Wait for feet.
It's good to be back. I'm calling this season our season of inconsistency. What are you gonna do, man? No, everyone's cool about it. You don't care. We try to be consistent,
adults.
but what am I gonna say? Life's coming at us with all jets blasting.
Yeah.
So we do the best we can.
Well, exactly the opposite in my case, because I haven't had water in my bathroom for over a fucking month now.
There you go.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Super
No
fun.
jets
Super
blasting.
fun.
How are
No
you
jets
cleaning,
blasting for
How
Matthew.
are you cleaning up?
My
He's not, can't you
mother-in-law's
tell?
shower.
Oh. That's not fun.
Nope.
Man.
That's not fun at all.
No, it sucks.
Is that roommate turning into a monster? Oh no, spoilers! Boy, yeah. So there's been lots of that kind of shit, folks. And I mean, no pun intended, I guess. But you know, hey, just so everybody knows, like, at least I'll speak for myself. I'm not tired of doing the podcast. That's not the issue. It's just finding the time to do it. We're gonna keep doing it. It just may not be as regular as we'd like. But
Yeah,
There's
we got
sweet stuff
jobs.
jumping in front. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to keep it up. Anyway, enough prevaricating. Let's move on to the power of positive drinking. I have actually kind of a big ass fat whiskey tonight. I am ready.
that
for
is.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I need it tonight. I'm super tired, but
That's
I find
a
that whiskey,
bulbous one.
unlike beer and unlike wine, whiskey actually is kind of at least temporarily, a stimulant for me.
Wow.
Unlike most other alcohol. So I'm going to need this so that I can talk tonight, I think. So I'm going to start gulping this down. Michelle.
Gulp, don't do that.
Oh.
I'm going to have a fake Guinness, but it still gives you that oh so sweet widget
I love it.
mix. Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the sound. The sound
is. And it's going
the
down
sound
my
of freedom.
gullet. The sound of
Enjoy.
freedom.
Enjoy. And
Yep.
Matthew, what's your horror show
God.
for us
Look
today?
at his face.
Well,
He's got a doozy.
No. I'm still not drinking booze on the podcast, and even though I have returns to very, very light consumption of alcohol in the rest of my existence these days. But anyway, no, I found this thing, and I didn't actually know it was a thing. I was aware of the phrase because of an acquaintance of mine used to use it as her online handle for ages, and I didn't know that was a thing. I have Pony Malta.
What?
Pony Malta.
Pony
The
is the
fuck
brand.
is that?
Malta is the substance. It is a lightly carbonated, I'm reading off the wiki here, non-alcoholic malt beverage brewed from barley, hops, and water, corn, and
Barbie?
caramel color.
Like Barbie doll?
Barley.
Oh,
But
barley.
I thought he said Barbie too, and I'm like, Barbie hops? What the fuck is Barbie?
It's sort of like a sweet. I'm sort of expecting. It's made in Colombia as well.
Okay.
Wow.
And it says it has 330 cubic centimeters of liquid in here.
Well,
Not centiliters, not milliliters.
centimeters.
Cubic centimeters.
God,
Well, when you're stuffing
oh my
Barbies
God.
in a glass, you have to measure them by centimeters.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm kind of it's full of. It says energía nutritiva, so it's con vitaminas.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah, right.
I tell you, you're going to get the runs with this. This is the one that gets you the
I don't think
runs.
so.
No.
Whoa, it's got a cap on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it smells. It smells like stout.
I think I'm gonna have
Really?
my
Yeah.
work cut out from us. Your mic is hot, so hot tonight. It's like a
Yeah.
skillet. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
it's,
going on.
it's
Mine
pretty
is?
ripe.
Yeah,
Eh.
everything you touch is like this loud. I don't know what's going on with your mic. It's just different tonight. I
It's
they'll be able to
ripe.
fix most of it in post, but there's something going on.
You know what? I'm just gonna actually. It didn't occur to me. It might be picking up my my headphone mics, and not.
I think it might
actually,
be because it
might
doesn't
be-
sound like the regular mic.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I plugged in my
a
my
fucking
noise
drink is
canceling
what it is.
headphones, and let me just. Hopefully, I can switch it midstream like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just taking a slight interruption to see if we
Hey,
can
hey.
get Matthew turn down the
Hey,
heat.
something
on
happened.
these. All right. Well, whatever the fuck that just was, we're back. Even though you probably, through the magic of editing, don't really know we were gone. I don't know how much I'm going to clip out, but everything shit the bed. But we're back. We're all good. I got my whiskey. Michelle's got her fake Guinness, and Matthew has your. What the fuck was that?
Pony Malta. And
Pony Malta.
And like I say, it smells like kind of like stout, maybe more like wort, like raw beer.
Ooh,
but it's
raw beer.
Wort.
Yeah, but then it's got Michelle, WORT.
Oh,
Wort.
that's so stupid.
Not like the wort you freeze off with ice.
I gotta go back to school.
It's tasty. It's yeah. I like
Wort. Tastes like a wart.
That's Barbie hops, the best kind of hops. All right. Well, good news, everybody. We're back. We're ready to talk about some songs. We got some. I mean, listen. I love all the songs that are in this episode. I truly do. It is nice for me not to have an episode where I feel like I'm putting my children in the ring to slit each other's throats.
Right.
Like it's not. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy episode, but I don't quite feel as pressured as I have in the past. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and bounce into round one here. Matthew will go first this time, but let me read off what it is we're pitting against each other. Into the ring in this corner comes Cats, Sex, and Nazis.
Hey, good job.
I said it right. There's a drinking game going on, by the way, folks. Every time I try to say Cats, Sex, and Nazis and can't say it right, you got to take a drink. Because it's definitely going to happen. It's off Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy, 1993, but also off of 0 + 2 = 1.5, the 2012 release, because there was that demo version with Andy. Now, Cats, Sex, and Nazis drink.
Come on, man.
Actually lost against the Jungle in episode 19. So this is a people's choice. And I was the dissenting opinion. I tried to push it through, so I'm very happy to have it back in the mix. Cats, Sex, and Nazis goes up against Hello, Goodbye off of 1 from 2000. And Hello, Goodbye won up against In Her Eyes in episode 29. And that was unanimous. Still feel good about that one, for sure. How are you guys on your first vote for... it was not easy, Cats, Sex, and Nazis versus the Jungle. I think I just put in a vote just so that it had a vote. Right? No, I didn't.
I'm just kidding.
So would that still be your vote? Jungle versus Cats, Sex, and Nazis?
I'd have to give it a listen, but probably.
Yep, probably.
Jungle was against it?
Yeah, it's a hard pull.
I vote for the Jungle last time?
You did.
I probably did. I think I'd stick with that. I think I would.
All right. Well,
I would stick with that.
Everyone, you remember the format. It's a little different than in the first season. So we have our first topic rounds. We're sort of comparing, contrasting the songs, talking about its writing, lyrics, performance, how well the lyrics fit the music, and any personal highlights, favorite things, and things that bug us. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that and let Matthew opine for us a little bit. But before we do that, I want to be kind to myself, and I'm going to crack open a book about cats, sex, and Nazis. Look at the pictures. I only read it for the artist.
I spy with my lizard eye, and everything I say is a lie. And what about you? What will you do when the sound of my voice touches you? When you hear me say, this is true, and the sound of my voice touches you. This is true, this is true, the sound of my voice touches you. This is true, this is true, the sound of my voice touches you. This is true, this is true, this is true, this is true! Cats, sex, and Nazis! That's what they call me, Mr. Happy! Why do I keep saying this over and over all the time? I know. Because it rhymes, moron! What do you want to hear now? A love song? Are you in love? Is it politically correct? Or are you just another fucking reject? corridor of trees will lead you past a public park. Row houses of brick empty onto a vacant lot. Turn left, turn right, and look for the neon sign. There you are, there you are. Wait a minute, I see.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Hello. All right, I've had a good wink. Matthew, go ahead.
Lovely. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You didn't need to do that on the Zoom exactly, but
No,
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's been a while. It
Right.
was nice.
Catsup Pepsi Nachos. I don't like how prescient this song is, and I don't like the things it makes me think right now. It may be even more potent than it has ever been, and I found it very difficult to distance my head from current events. Both of these songs, I think, are about cults or demagoguery in some way, some sort of
Jeez.
mind control. One is just quieter than the other one. And I think, Cat 6 and Nazis was probably, it was really came out at the very beginning and definitely before the ubiquity of the internet. And I think the stuff that it's about was more about, the multiplication of cable TV and that sort of demagoguery. And now there's the internet, which is like the fractal version.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it is really about like a cipher. It's about, there are names I just don't want to say because they get too much press as it is. But it certainly makes me think of two particular current events kind of figures who have a lot of.
Go ahead and name them,
admiration
you
for each
coward.
other.
Can you spell them?
Name them, you coward.
One
Wart?
sounds like sort of
Yeah.
like Wart. Yeah. One's a fart
Fart.
and one's a joke.
Douchebag? Wait, I don't know what.
Totally narrows it down, but I'm sure I
Putin
know
and
who you're
fucking
talking about.
Putin and Trump, guys.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yep.
oh.
Oh boy. Orange and oranger.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
it's pretty.
Cheeto Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway,
what I
I don't
call
really
it.
want to talk about him. It's just that so much of this, so much the prescience, prescient of it. I think it's a very, very Rob song. I think they're both very, very Rob songs. But I think that Hello Goodbye is it's like the quiet cult leader, the anodyne, the gently convincing, whereas the other one is just loud until everybody believes him. But the structure is it's kind of a like Cat 6 and Nazis is a loudspeaker. It is a teleprompter. It is a televangelist.
Oh, that's cool. Teleprompter. I like that.
Whereas Hello Goodbye is really gentle, and the structure of it is sort of like here's the instructions to come meet me, and now we're gonna put this thing together, and then now we're gonna have our very calm and very dark ritual, in which we will probably die because if you put out a flame, put out a fire with yew branches, you will probably die.
Okay.
I hadn't noticed that before, or maybe I have and I just forgot. But yew is extremely toxic. And
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Right at the end, they're having the ritual. The smoke is very important. The leaves of the yew tree will smother the brazen flames. So if there's a bunch of people standing around a fire and you smother the flames with yew branches and sort of breathe that in, you are going to hallucinate at the very least, and maybe
shit.
hallucinate for one last time.
Wow.
So I think that this, it's really just it could be various aspects of his personality, but it's somebody who is reaching the end. He's like, you will not follow me. You can see what I'm doing, but you're not going to come with me. Oh yeah. Oh, a minute. I see. And that's Tom saying that. I hadn't noticed that before. A prophet without disciples, a teacher without students, it's shepherd without sheep. It's
That'll
one of the few
bridge.
times you hear Tom's voice.
Yep.
And I wonder how much of this song had a little bit more Tom input into it. I think the structure of it certainly, the sort of lilting,
Yeah.
it's very much a journey. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
just the progression of the song, that's why I think the lyrics and the music really go well together. Um, and it's all very light. It's not your typical kind of dark and gloomy. I mean, so many No Means No songs are in like a post-apocalyptic landscape or in a dank cave or anything like that. This is a very
Dank
sunny,
cave.
to me, sunny afternoon. Um, but they're going off to do something serious, and I've liked this before, and I may have mentioned it before. Till we east will hang the door solid oak. You can't get through. You can't get through that solid oak door. You can't see through it, and that blocks off the morning light. That blocks up innovation. That blocks up new ideas. To the west, bay windows letting in the light. That's nothing but the sunset. That's nostalgia.
Setting sun.
That's the end. Place to be, a place to read, a place to spend the night. It is someone preparing or going into the off into the sunset. And I think maybe they're accepting it, but there's something darker in this, and it's not quite as blatantly dark as Cat Sex and Nazis, but I think they both songs convey the song structure. Like, Cat Sex and Nazis talks about zombies, and it is just a lurching thing. It's a lurching, headless
Mm-hmm.
thing. The media, the systems of control. The lyrics are very, very quotable, pithy, funny, also scary as hell. I think the highlights of this song is that it is super disturbing, and the lowlights is that it's super disturbing. It's
Horseshoe theory.
It's not a song that maybe I would listen to it if I kind of want to laugh. I kind of want to have like a sardonic think about stuff. It's not a fun song to listen to, not really. It's funny, but it's not an ass shaker. Not
It's
really.
Yo ho ho
It's sort
positive kind of song.
No.
Ass shaker.
Yeah. It's kind of like there's an aspect of kind of changing channels. It reminds me actually of the Dead Bob character, the new Dead Bob character, the dude kind of just zoning out, watching TV, the fat dude with an eye in his forehead. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
the song kind of
That guy
feels like absolutely
creeps me
changing
out, man.
channels, but with this constant guttural throb.
Yeah.
Boom.
The throb of Rob.
Rob throb.
The Rob throb.
All right. I'm gonna reel that one in right now.
But yeah, that lurching riff, and and he's so fucking smart, like a stable genius.
Oh Jesus. Oh God.
Anyway,
Somebody help us.
In Hello Goodbye,
Somebody
I really like this song. It is a sleeper for me. It's definitely one that I've voted it up last time, and the more I listen to it, the more I like it. I think I dismissed it before because precisely because of the really, really anodyne hello goodbye hello goodbye. It's kind of silly, and it really
Sesame
belies
Street.
what the song is actually talking about. And like I say, I like it more and more, and really like the up kind of bouncing drums, really great hi-hat playing. I like hearing Tom's voice. I like that there's organ, but it's a fantastic drumming song as well.
God, it's so good.
It's so good.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that hi-hat, or not, it's not even the hi-hat. Some of the cymbals he's using in this, he's using them in the way I have just not heard in very many other No Means No songs.
I love how the bass line becomes really fluid. I starts more open notes it's the same bass line, but he just more ringing, more open towards the end, like they're kind of going off somewhere. But you will not follow me, despite the fact that you're with me and we're going to the same place. You won't follow me. That's kind of the feeling I have. Like, I don't really care whether you're with me. Everything is really he delivers everything really in the really matter-of-fact tone, except what shall we sing. It's the same tone as a place to be, a place to read, place to spend the night. Hand me up the cap and I'll read the book, and together we'll all sing. It's all very like a preacher, but sort of a quiet sort of preacher, not the guy with the sunglasses and the stogie.
He's not the Mr. Wrong preacher. He's
not the Mr. Wrong preacher, but he's more subtle, but every bit as convincing. Because it's with indifference rather than Lies.
Right. Right.
So yeah, brilliant songs to compare. I like them both a lot. Cat 6 and Nazis, as have said probably before, I find it's. I mean, maybe this is better said in the next section. It's a bit of a novelty song in some ways, not in all
Oh
ways.
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But it has way more samples than any other No Means No song. Like notable, like identifiable,
Notably, yeah.
notable, and that's
And
part of the point,
and references. Not
References.
well, I'll talk about. Yeah, I'll wait till my bit to talk about that.
And
Yeah,
and
for
that's
sure.
I think I was maybe it was last episode I was talking about how Mr. Happy generally is, to me, it's the album that reflects it is of its time, and it is easier to identify a lot of the contemporary influences and references than most other Nomizo albums, I'd say.
I mean, Dan Rather is a pretty punctuated reference. It's one of the more
Yeah.
like time locked references.
Right.
And then in the 0+2=1.5, it's Phil Donahue, right? So
Yeah.
in both versions, there's a very time locked reference that becomes less relevant as you crawl through
Oh,
the decades.
Dan Rather's still writing. I read.
No, I know.
stuff
I
like
just
all
mean
the
he's
time,
not.
yeah.
He's not what he doesn't mean what he did back in '93. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
certainly
Like,
not. Certainly
yeah.
not.
Man,
Yeah. Well, excellent.
love that back, honestly.
All right. You got anything more for us, sir?
No, that's probably I can run my
For
mouth
round
on-
one? Well, yeah. Well, you'll get another crack at this. Michelle, how about you? What do you think
All
of these two
right.
suckers?
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
That's from the price. That's from The Price is Right, and God,
That's
I know
right.
that because I used to worship that show and fake being sick. So
This
I
Oh
straight
could
man,
tastes
that's
like-
we all have that in common, right? Like I
Oh!
did that.
barley.
Petticoat Junction.
This tastes like barley sugar. That's what
Barley
it does.
sugar.
It took
See,
me a while.
that doesn't sound good to me.
Barley sugar.
English people, British people listening to this will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like maybe old people candy, but yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Ew.
It's
Oh,
the
it's kind of
Werther's
okay.
original of beers. or
It
fake
tastes
beers?
like sweet stout. Strangely, you'd probably like it.
That
I
sounds.
don't know.
That sounds
no,
pretty good.
I don't know.
It
Nope,
looks like red wine.
nope.
All right, Stranger, go ahead. What's up?
All right, the Price is Right, and then We Care a Lot from Faith No More, and you guys will have to tell me the other stuff at the beginning. What's he say? Our wives can often keep in power.
Lies can often
It's-
give you power.
Oh, lies can often give you power.
Lies
And
can
you know, for
often
the-
give you power.
For the longest time, I thought it was lies can often keep you in power. That's what I
Mm.
thought he said.
I thought he said wives, like husband, wives. Wives can often keep in power.
No, lies can often give you power.
Are you? Oh, we're hearing all three different stuff. That's crazy.
But I like the wives thing. Now I'm going to start listening
Yeah,
to that.
wives can often keep in power. Maybe they should.
My wife.
Okay, here's No Means No, keeping up with the times and being Beastie Boys, and the sampling bits that lead into a raunchy, rompous jaunt down the street in a demented parade. This tune is not filled with incredible gymnastics, but is indeed intriguing as hell with all the fun stuff they add in. I especially like the ones where the band members themselves react or answer back to the lyrics. You know what I'm talking about. They're having a lot of fun with this. Finding out through Jason's book and all of the interviews John's been doing lately, he's got this thing with horn sections in his music, and that's pretty prominent in this one. And is this on the Dead Bob set list? Because it should be. I think it'd be kind of
not.
cool if they did that. They could.
I think it's
get-
probably for John maybe too much of a Rob focused song. He seems to
Really?
want to do more of the, but I don't know. But it's not on the set list yet. But I'd love to see them do it. But
It'd be
I
kind of.
just
cool.
he seems to be avoiding the ones that are because this one's not a gymnastic song. This is a Rob,
No.
full on, and he seems
Yeah.
to be avoiding those a little bit more on the set list.
Oh,
But who
okay.
knows?
All
Who
right.
knows?
I just figured it was something the band could do with all the members.
Oh yeah, well of
and-
course they could.
you
They'd
know,
fucking
pretty-
rock it.
Yeah. Hello, goodbye. I have a feeling Rob wrote this, but it's also very Tom to me, especially the beginning.
Mm.
The transition between the sections contains some good seamless songwriting, and overall it's a good blend of every member of the band. Every member is taking part in this one. A great highlight, like you mentioned, Matthew, is John's hi-hat work. I really like the riffs Rob plays in this one, and it's matter of fact in some spots. It feels like a moving picture in another. I kind of don't get the "you three follow me" part. I'm talking about this musically. Obviously, I'm not paying attention to the lyrics at all. But the "You Three Follow Me" kind of thing was just kind of a whoa, what? It just kind of got dropped in there. It seems. It
Hmm.
seems seems like a little bit empty. I don't know. Am I an asshole?
No, I mean, I think
Uh,
I don't necessarily agree, but I hear what you're saying on that. I
yeah,
can totally get the.
right.
It is a interval. It's a weird interval
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah.
Mhm.
musically.
That's what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
not as eloquently. Rob is mentioning tons of trees and their heavier meanings, and the whole song seems deeper than it sounds. That's all I have.
All right. Nice. Um,
Yes.
I don't. I don't on its face disagree with anything you guys have seen or said rather, but I definitely read both these songs kind of differently, especially Cat Sets and Nazis. Cats, Sex, and Nazis. Drink, everyone.
I
Fuck
got it.
that one up. To me, much like My Politics, this is an absolutely meta song. I think this is Rob 100% just talking about him and his relation to songwriting and his audience. I think that there's a lot in this about, you could definitely, I can see you're reading Matthew 100%, but I also think this is really biographical. I think this is, hey, and really about the nature of truth. I've had so many conversations with Parker about this. It's helped me kind of refine my thoughts on this song. But this idea of how one can be very earnest and believe something, and yet because of, as Rob is often obsessed with this idea that one can never actually communicate the truth of one's experience, or frankly the truth of anything, to anybody else, because truth is
Uh,
ultimately ineffable to any of us, that as earnest as one can be, everything one says is going to be a lie. And that these people who are like, in a sense, what came to me in listening to the song a lot this time around was, this song is the fucking noose to this podcast, which is Dead Bob. Like, this song hangs us. This song is like
oh,
talking about us and saying, like, you want to fucking pour over my lyrics, go for it. But it's just fucking, why does it why do I keep saying this over all the time? Because it rhymes, moron. Like, you're reading
yeah,
way
yeah,
too much into
yeah,
this shit.
yeah, yeah.
And so he's basically like, I feel bad listening to the song because I'm like, yeah, I'm doing exactly what he's talking about. Like, I'm reading too much into it. I'm trying to put myself into the
Why
meaning.
don't you
I'm
just don't?
pulling all this meaning, but his head is empty and his bowels are full, right? Like, I really get this sense of him on the one hand saying, I really believe all the things I say to you. It's just that none of them are true. That is not a trite thing he's saying. I think he's
Nope.
really saying that in a really earnest sense. It's like, no, no, no. I do believe what I'm saying when I write it, but don't take it as
Oh,
truth. There is no truth. You can't, there is nothing that's true. Why do they call me Mr. Happy and so sarcastic? Because I'm so
oh my God!
fucking smart. That's
It's
Rob
just
taking
like
the piss
Matthew
out of
said.
himself
Yep, yep.
and being like, yeah, I'm really fucking smart, and fat lot of good it does me. I still am a heart that's full and yet also bleak at the same time, right? Like, how can a heart be full and still be bleak? Cold and alone, hard as stone. Like, I think he's talking about himself. This song really is meta to me on a really deep level. I think it's fucking brilliant for that. And it also excoriates us as an audience, invites us in, but also says, but listen, man, don't take anything I'm saying too seriously. Don't fucking look too deeply into it. It's all bullshit. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm so fucking smart. That's what everyone's going to say about me. Musically, I think the song's fucking great. It's fun as hell. I love
Yeah.
all the references. I love, it's got the Pink Panther in there, you know.
Yep.
Boop,
Yep.
bidoop, 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 bidoop. It's got nanny 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 at the end. He's got that little guitar solo with that little
Mm-hmm.
part. Like, there's just so many great fucking references. Read in the book that the musically, was interesting to me, that the zombies are human, like human flesh, was for a different song. That chorus was from a different song.
Oh shit!
And they were like, hey, it works well in this one. Let's put it in here. It's like, they didn't write it to be part of this. It was from something else.
I
And they're
gotta
like,
read
hey,
that book again,
that
man.
actually works good in this. All right, let's do it. Which is kind of like, all right, fucking pastiche. That's I mean, that's so on brand with the song anyway, which was so sampled. They sampled themselves. They're like, hey, let's sample
Yeah.
this other bit that we'd had written for something else and put it in here.
Every band's done that.
So
Every band.
what I'm saying about the meta part, it actually, to me, I think dovetails and is just an additional layer to kind of what you were talking about, Matthew, which I also think is there. This idea of how one can manipulate people through lies and be very earnest about it and still just not fucking believe it and be full of shit. And I think it is very prescient in that way. But it really, I can't listen to this song and not feel that it's 1,000% Rob being super meta, like my politics, which until I listened to it for this round 2, it did not strike me that way. And then I went like, oh, of course, that's 100% feel
you and
confident. That's
Chet.
what this song is about. I have no
Yep.
doubt. And I feel that way too. I listen to the song. I'm like, I can't hear this any other way. It's Rob hanging me by my own noose for looking too deeply into his shit.
I defy
Really,
you to see through me. Nothing is
all that you will see. Exactly. And I love, as Rob often does, he'll play with verses. I think I talked about this when I talked about it before, but he says, I spy with my lizard eye and everything I see is a lie. And then in the second time he says that, he says, everything I say is a lie, right? So he just takes one word and changes
one
it
word.
and
Yep.
yet deepens his
Yep.
interrogation of what he's saying a little bit more.
Interrogation.
Yeah, musically this is not a there's no gymnastics going on in this song,
Yeah.
but it fucking grinds and
Yeah.
and that zombies eat human flesh part, that is a funky ass
fits
riff.
well.
That gets my ass shaking. You say this is not an ass shaker. That's
true.
That's
True enough.
that riff rocks. And I think I absolutely adore that part at the end when he starts saying God, what is it? God, what is the part? Fucking, I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah. Here I am. I'm looking at the
What do you got?
lyrics.
The
which is
lyrics
fucking,
right there?
I'm trying
Oh
to
my
get the
God!
lyrics.
Look at you.
God damn it! Where the fuck? What am I trying to talk about? Like, oh yeah. And what are you gonna do? And when you hear me say this is true, and the sound of my voice touches you, this
Yeah,
is
that's
true.
cool.
This is true, and
Yeah,
the
I
sound
like
of my
that.
voice touches you. That is so ominous.
Yeah.
And yet so direct, and I really feel like Rob is looking me right in the fucking face and going,
Yeah.
okay,
You're getting very sleepy.
okay,
Yeah.
and well, actually just trying to wake me up, not put me to sleep, but being like,
oh.
This, do not fucking try to project too much onto me. Like, what are you going to do when, like, what's your relationship with my music? What is your relationship with my music? Take a moment and interrogate that for yourself. And just the way he delivers it is so menacing and yet authentic at the same time. I don't know. Rob's vocal performances are just fucking
Rob.
great. And this one is so rich with irony. It's so dripping in irony and yet sincerity at the same time, which is, I don't know, it's one of the things I love about this band. They can hold these two opposite feelings at the same time, shove them on my face and go, eat both of these fucking handfuls of dung right now.
Yeah.
And I will enjoy it. I will enjoy the flavor of it.
Totally win. I'd never lie. That was the first time.
And that was the first time.
Shit.
So
The
Hello
band's
Goodbye, on the other hand, I still also stand by the fact that I think this song is one of Rob's talking about something very universal. And I think this is a song that uses a very prosaic, kind of laconic, as you talked about, Matthew, narrator to game out how religion turns into from a something that holds a community together and is just a way for people to deal with each other, all the way through the complicated bullshit it becomes. I think this is it's a treatise on how religion goes from where it started to where it went. And while that you could absolutely layer on cultishness on that, I think it's more than that. I think it's past just a cultishness into talking about how it starts as something that's just a matter of how humans relate, which to me is why it's Hello Goodbye. Those are the two almost most basic things that humans relate to, saying hello and goodbye. The arrival and departure of another being from your space is some of the most basic communication you can fucking have. So that's like the root of all human communication. Oh, hello, goodbye, and then everything else.
Where's the bathroom? That one too.
Yeah, there you go. My bowels are full. Everything else kind of fills the gap in between. But it starts so simply about just like, well, just you grab the boxes, you put this here, everything's cool. This is where you find me. All the way through that last verse, which is, don't spill the blood of the oxen on the altar. This is the kind of wood we use to smother the flames. And I think it is a really interesting point that you make, that you would make hallucinogenic or poisonous flames. Like, Rob's not lazy. He probably fucking knew that. So that's a really good pull. but it gets into that level of complication. And I think there's a real beauty and subtlety in the lyrics of how each of the verses deepens the commentary on how religion changes from one thing into
Oh
its
my God.
final overcomplicated form. And that's why I mean, this song is so underrated to me. I think it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Musically, I love the way the bass and the guitar trade lead. Sometimes the guitar is kind of taking a lead. Sometimes the bass takes the lead line and the guitar is taking the line that would be the dum 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 dum, but that's the guitar now, and then now the bass is going like bam 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 bam. You know, like they're trading off and on, and it's so fucking great. And of course, there's the organ underneath it. As you mentioned, Matthew, the drums in this song are fucking outrageous. They're outrageous. How is John Wright a human being? It's fucking crazy.
And nice,
and the way that it's
one too.
well, that's
Yeah.
the other thing. He's such a, I mean, on all fronts, this guy is absolutely incredible. And the drums behind the song are incredible.
Yep.
And if I'm to compare and contrast these songs, like musically speaking, Hello Goodbye is way more mature, way more interesting, way more layered. I hear what you're saying, Michelle, about that interval, about the
Yeah, it's
you
just,
three follow me, and
yeah,
the
makes
but
me
I
cringe
actually
a little bit.
I get it, but I actually really like that. I feel like there's
All
these
right.
intervals. To me, like if I'm looking at the meaning of the song and how the lyrics and everything, you know, I like to talk about the holography of these songs. Those are those areas of interval where there are jumps and changes in the way that like ritual and religion change from one place to another. When you get someplace, it's like, wait a minute, you three follow me. You three follow me. And suddenly now you're into a whole new fucking era where all this other shit's going to start. Everything's going to change again. But there are these punctuated parts where whether it's a fucking prophet or whether it's whatever, where somebody gets some big bright ideas and takes what came before and really changes it. And those are moments of almost chaos, but also quietude. And so it fits to me. It feels it feels of the right nature of what it's saying in terms of musically and to me structurally what he's trying to say in the song.
All right.
But it also is like it's a bright song, whereas Mr. Happy is
it's a
such
progression. It's a journey.
It's a progression, right? And Mr. Happy is not. Mr. Happy is a fucking. It's
Mr.
funky, but
Happy.
it's a dirt.
I see what you're
It's a
doing now.
dank living room.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's a man.
That's not what it's called, though. You just don't want to call it that.
I know. Cass has Nazis.
You can call it Mr. Happy.
Mr. Happy. But I think the Cats, Sex, and Nazis reading it as a
Checking Narcy.
Cash and Percy as a song where Rob is bearing a part of himself that's very uncomfortable to admit. When someone who's so smart will admit that they're full of shit at the same time as wanting to hold on tight to what they believe. That's really vulnerable. There's a part of this song that feels incredibly vulnerable to me, while also throwing up a 40-foot brick wall and saying, fuck you, you will never know. You will never know what's going on in my head, ever. I'll try to tell you.
God, is that a
I
mercy
will
you wanna
really
get
try to
know?
tell you. I'm going to try my hardest to tell you what's going on in here, but you will never fucking know what is going on in here.
The line in Hello Goodbye. You stand over there and I'll stay here.
I'll stand over here. Yeah, I mean, listen, Rob has these. He's a fractal, man. In his songwriting, it's these themes reflect everywhere, right? And I think Hello Goodbye is a very almost universal, broad brush. And Cat, Sex, and Nazis to me is a very meta personal song. But yeah, they both they can in certain ways reflect similar themes. I will note one of my weird little bits of trivia I realized here that this song, as recorded on the real LP, is the very last time we hear actual Andy. Because that at the very end of that song where he goes like, is this on? Is this thing on? Is this on? Is this thing on? That's Andy's voice. And that's it. That's the rap for Andy ever on No Means No, but that's the very last time you hear his voice ever. And that was from the demo, right? Like that wasn't him recording it for this, I'm sure, because he recorded the demo and they clearly brought some of that on for this track. But so yeah, last time you ever actually hear Andy on any song is, I believe, Cats, Sex, and Nazis.
Wow.
But great great, great fucking pair of tunes. I guess I will leave it at that for round one. Probably got more to say for round two. Matthew, what's your round two thoughts or shit on that?
Okay. In terms of representative, I would say, in a lot of ways, Hello Goodbye is more representative, like I said, of a typical No Means No song in some ways, in terms of the structure and the music and everything like that. The structurally atypical, I guess, is Cat Sex and Nazis a little bit, and yeah, it's an odd duck, and as such, it's maybe when I would introduce newbies to in a certain type of newbies. I think I think there are things for people who listen to metal or goth music or industrial music or whatever. There's something for them to latch onto.
Little nugs. Yeah.
Whereas, Hello Goodbye maybe less so. It's Hello Goodbye is not an introductory No Means No song. It was not for me. It took me a long time to listen to and appreciate it for the way that I do now. I certainly, one as a whole was really like that in a lot of ways. For me. I was not receptive to what one is when one came out. That's for sure. I would say, Catsup and Nazis, it's very well known. It's one that people who don't know No Means No very well will tend to bring up because it's so memorable. The name is memorable. So it's important as a song that people know. I think Hello Goodbye should be better known. But would it be one that I was like, go to a newbie, you need to hear this song? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Michelle, how about you?
I don't like round two. I can't follow you guys.
You can, please do.
All right,
just talk.
but it's all right. Okay.
Just jabber.
All right.
No self-consciousness allowed.
Well, I'm just not. All right. I looked at this more and what kind of envelope you would put these in, and Cats is more of their experimental phase when they were doing some weird stuff, and Hello is more of the end of their under their career, winding down a little bit. I think Cats I might have problems saying the name too, so I just shortened it to Cats.
Cats.
Yeah, Cats. Yeah.
Rum Tum Tiger. Oh.
Yeah, I think that is more sounding like No Means No and more of their strategy and songwriting than Hello Goodbye. But maybe I'm missing something. You guys always bring up some really great points, and it just makes me think a lot, and I hope it does for other people too.
I think I'm on your page on this one, Michelle. We'll see when I get to round two, but I kind of agree.
Whoa. What? That Cats is more of a
that it's more representative
of their recipe? Yeah, I think it is. But I do love the introduction of all the samples that were done, and I really like the back and forth with the band members. I think it's a riot. I think it's really fun to listen to. All right, so that's all I'm gonna do for round two for Michelle.
What about newbie stuff? I want to know what you think about
round
either
three.
of these
All
songs
right,
for
newbie. Okay, look. If I had to pick out which one of these, I would probably pick out Cats to play for somebody. I would
That's
not.
the Czar rule. Good, you remembered the
Right?
Czar
Yeah,
rule.
I did the Czar rule. But I'm telling you, I got some rules when I play No Means No for anybody, and there's like a pack of 3. And these,
well, you could say no to both of these, right? Like,
well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, neither of these two, I wouldn't choose either of these two to play for anybody at all.
Gun to your
unless
head,
they
though,
wanted to,
Gun to your head, if you had to choose one of these, which of them would they be? I agree with you. I don't think either of these.
Is that my vote or who I would play?
No. Of what you would play of either. of these songs.
I'd play Cats, Sex, and Nazis for somebody just because it's more interesting. It's like cool.
Well, I don't know about that, but yes, I hear you.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's more obvious. I think funny for sure.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I think so. I in terms of which one is more representative, I do think Cat Sex and Nazis. Jesus Christ, Cats.
Oh my
Sex
God,
and
it's so
Nazis.
great.
All you guys out there are drunk if you play this drinking game. I think it's incredibly representative of their oeuvre, but in a way that's almost like it's a parody. it's a distilled parody of their oeuvre in a way, right? Like
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's their oeuvre on steroids. It's their humor. It's their
Yeah.
earnestness. It's their irony. It's their willing to
Yeah.
poke fun at themselves. It's their willing to poke fun at the world. It's Rob's ability to make fun of himself and yet be
and they're
also
stomping.
earnest. It's that idea of, or the being able to hold irony and sincerity in both hands at the same time, equally weighed.
Right.
It's the Rob's ability to convey so much and such opposite things within two different lines that are back to back.
Such a
It's-
direct nod to Faith No More.
Such a
Which
direct
he
nod to
has
Fake
to
No
have been listening to it,
More. It's got their humor. I mean,
Yep.
they are just having a fucking great time in both versions of this. The one they did with Andy and the one they did with on their own, just the two of them. They love to put references and I mean John especially probably, right? Like the references and in jokes, and there's so many fucking jokes in this. I came to work and I brought my lunch, which is a joke about wrong, right? About brainless wonder. Like they're mocking themselves, they're being meta. So much of this is like a meta oeuvre song.
A
So-
meta oeuvre. Oh my
But it's so I do think it's very representative. Hello Goodbye. I love this song. I don't think it's representative of them at all. I think it's such an outlier. I think you listen to the song, I'm like, whoa, this is No Means No, in the best way, right? Like in the way that's
Yeah,
like, holy
never heard
shit,
you
this
say
is
that.
No Means No. This is the
Yeah,
same
wow.
band
Mm.
that just did fucking Under the Sea, or like I don't know, like what else, like Our Town. Fucking, it's so different.
Yeah,
But it also does have that real kind of. I wonder if there's not. I think. Sorry, let me complete a sentence here. I think Rob has said that this was a very Rob album, even in the composition.
yeah.
I don't know that we have full details on this. This feels like it maybe had a little bit more of John's composition in it. There's something a little more
Mhm.
proggy, a little more
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way
for
the
sure.
keyboard really comes in. This feels like it has more of John's musicianship underneath it than
Huh.
some of the other songs on this album. So I wonder about that.
I thought it was Tom on that one, honestly.
It could be Tom, but it doesn't. I don't know. It could be. It could be.
Yeah,
I
it
just
could
I
be
sensed
either
more
one.
of John's musicianship on this, on the
Yeah, yeah.
musical composition of this. And in the way that it's surprising to me musically, it definitely fits in their oeuvre, because that's another part of their oeuvre where you listen to them and you're like, what the fuck? This is that same band? So yeah, it's representative in that way. Czar rules, Catsup and Nazis every time. Like I would play this song for a lot of people. Would not be my first choice, but Matthew, kind of like what you said, there's enough little nugs in this that
Nugs.
somebody's gonna like part of it. Let's say they're a Faith No More fan. Oh, that's Faith No More.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
Price
Dan
is
Rather.
Right.
Like anybody from the '90s you play this from is going to be is going to recognize a lot of the things. They don't have to understand what it is. In my view, nobody who hasn't listened to all of fucking No Means No is going to really understand this, if they understand it at all. To me, because it's a song about No Means No, and so what are you going to get out of it, really? But you don't have to. I can shake my butt to it. I think it's fun as fuck.
I can bug out to it.
I can bug out to it. I think all of the jokes are funny. You don't have to understand
Yep.
them for them to sound funny. Even
Right.
if you don't get it, it's still fucking funny. And just that last line, that so fucking
Mhm.
smart.
And
It's
then
just
the
funny.
parade
It's just
music.
great. It's just great. All of it is great. So I
Yeah.
would introduce Catsup, Sex, and Nazis any day over Hello Goodbye. Now that said, I have actually introduced Hello Goodbye to some newbies because I think it's their least aggressive song. I think it's a song you can play for someone who
Oh,
does not like punk at all, and they'd still really fucking love it, because it's really not punk, this song, I don't think.
Nope. It's
And
true.
yet, and so I think this song has a wider audience. I think there are people who I would not introduce to other No Means No songs, period. And yet I'd
Fuck
go,
'em.
you actually might like Hello Goodbye. This song's pretty great. Listen to this. So it's like a little in my pocket, like, hey, check out this song, for folks that I know would
Wow.
never listen to Cat, Sex, and Nazis. So I don't know. A little A,
wow.
little B.
I have no idea where this is going, honestly. I like this.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, this
So
is a little
let's
juicy.
go to round 3, the votes. Matthew, you're up first.
Hello, goodbye.
Oh
my God.
Oh, from the outside, ladies and gentlemen,
Holy
down the
shit.
foul line.
Yeah,
Hello
I
Goodbye
think-
gets a vote.
I think if I was gonna listen to No Means No, I might put on Hello Goodbye. If I was gonna go listen to Cat Sex and Nazis, I'd listen to Cat Sex and Nazis. But
Oh
if I was
my
gonna go
God, that's
listen to
funny.
No Means No, Cat Sex and Nazis is not the first song I'd put on.
Nice. Look at that. Love it.
I might even skip
Michelle.
it if I'm not in the mood for it.
Oh,
About that.
shots fired. Michelle, where are you at with these two?
I'm gonna vote for Cats, Sex, and
Oh.
Nazis.
Oh, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen, it's a tie. Bottom of the
I
ninth.
have no idea where you're going.
Bottom of the ninth. Okay, well, fuck. I don't know where I'm going either.
Oh.
I love both these songs. I think "Hello Goodbye" is one of the as you said. It's never been a grower for me. Like, I love this song. It was one of the highlights when I first listened to this album. I was blown away by this song. I loved this whole album, but this song I was like, "What the fuck? This is so good." So this has long been a favorite of mine. Absolutely love it. I think "Hello Goodbye," more of the fan base should embrace this song and love it. However, Cats, Sex, and Nazis is like No Means No DNA. Fucking give me a fucking break. This song cannot go now over Hello Goodbye. I love Hello Goodbye, but Cats, Sex, and Nazi is like, Jesus Christ, like that's a tattoo of No Means No. That's just, it is so distilled of so much of what makes them what they are in a way that Hello Goodbye doesn't. It's a better song. I'm going to say that. This is where it starts to get weird. I think Hello Goodbye is a better song structurally in the sense of the musically. I like it better in certain ways, but I love the shit out of Cats, Sex, and Nazis. And I think it's
you're
more
saying
important.
it better now that you voted for it.
So it's I am definitely voting for Cats, Sex, and Nazis as my vote.
Wow.
It's going through. It wasn't actually that close, but I love Hello Goodbye, and I'm sad to see it go because it's a great fucking song.
Interesting to me.
Wow, that was an interesting round. Holy shit.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep.
All right. Well, goodbye, hello. And we're gonna move into our listener submission. And this week, I'm going to read from a listener, Ged. And Ged, thank you so much for sending this in. You have a fuller name, but you introduce yourself as Ged, so I'm not going to call you as anything else than that.
I love that.
And I'm not going to do a fake British accent, even though I can do a really bad one because you're from the UK. Hello, my name is Ged. I'm from the UK. I thought that I should get in touch and share some of my words. Thanks for the excellent podcast. I've listened to all the episodes at the time of writing. Yeah, read this out on the show if it pleases you. Should give someone a laugh. Well, I wrote a first draft of the story a while ago, but further shit happened that I thought might be worth mentioning. There's one silly story and one serious story, but the latter has a happy ending. I cannot actually pinpoint the first time I heard No Means No, but I can tell you that it was in the 80s, so a long time ago. I would have been at school and rapidly discovering all sorts of music, but I can tell you when my grandma first heard No Means No. I was staying with my grandparents while my family were on holiday. I think I didn't get to go on holiday because I had exams or something, but with all those years intervening, only the musical details are etched into my memory. I'd compiled a cassette of music, including Alternative Tentacle's finest musical treats of the time, for my stay. I did not want to disturb my grandparents with loud punk rock. However, they were happy to let me play the tape in the kitchen as I was revising, or perhaps pretending to revise. But I heard my gran on the phone to my mom saying, "He's listening to his music. It's quite good, actually," as Beauty and the Beast was playing. A bit of a change from Cliff Richard, but unquestionably a seal of approval.
Oh, man.
This was just before Wrong was released. I told you it was a long time ago. My life was already changed by the day Everything Became Nothing, and it was radically changed again with this new release by the same band. Sadly, I never got the opportunity to play this one for my grandparents. If I had done, would probably have skipped songs with obvious swearing on them anyway.
Aww,
however, my late grandmother's endorsement is why I would vote for Beauty and the Beast over Big Dick. Otherwise, I could not choose between them. The foregoing was the first draft of my message to you all. And then, on the evening of November 1st, as I was listening to that very special podcast with John, halfway through the episode, I was rudely interrupted by a heart attack.
Holy shit!
Nothing to do with the content of the show, I hasten to add, but rather a latent condition that I never knew I had. I've never had a heart attack before, nor do I want to repeat the experience. A couple hours later, I was being rushed to the hospital. Thanks to our fantastic National Health Service, I was being treated promptly as I was laying in a hospital bed, thinking how unusual a turn of events this all was.
Oh my God.
I had the best possible result from the angioplasty, according to the diagnostics, and basically felt pretty good less than 24 hours after the emergency. Many thanks to my wonderful friends Jonathan and Samantha for looking after me when I was discharged from the hospital. They also
Aw.
visited me from day one of my hospital stay and brought some books and other things, one of which was Michael Azarad's Our Band Could Be Your Life.
For your life. Yeah, nice.
I read much of this during my several days in a hospital bed, a book that is extremely evocative of the 80s and brought about many nostalgic thoughts of that decade. A little over a week later, I was able to finish off listening to the John Wright special and also listen to the subsequent episode, and I have now caught up. Well,
Oh, man.
dead. Holy shit, brother.
Yeah, I'll
to think
say.
that someone had a heart attack when they were listening to our podcast and it was not because of one of our dumb fucking votes is it's not hyperbole.
Oh, man.
I am
Ged's
so
not
glad
dead.
to hear. Yeah. I'm so glad to hear you're okay. And I hope you're
Yeah.
still listening
Oh,
and
my
heart attack
God.
free. But and this was one of those ones that I think I missed that got sent in maybe actually I guess it was last November, so it wasn't that long ago.
Not that long.
That's when we interviewed John. So it's not that old. But Ged, thank you
Wow.
so much for sending this in, man. That was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I love that your
like-
granny loved Beauty and the Beast.
I know.
What
Come
a fucking
on,
great
that's great.
song.
Mhm.
Holy shit. Holy
Cliff
shit.
Richard.
Sounds like she
Yeah.
was a beauty and not a beast.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And you've played the newbie test your very own. So that's what I love to hear. That's
Yeah.
fucking great, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Matthew,
Super.
you want to remind people how they can send shit into our stupid, dumb little podcast?
We have an email. It is
We do.
no means nothing podcast at gmail.com. The three things that are kind of icebreakers, which people are still sending in, and that's awesome. You can even send it in again if you already have, because your answers might change. What is your no means no origin story? What does no means no mean to you? And if you have an anecdote or a story of some meaningful experience or memorable experience to do with
Heart
no means no
attack.
in the past, such as but hopefully not that.
Hopefully not. a heart attack,
My
yes.
God, I'm still
Well-
thinking about that. Jesus.
Well, that's a positive outcome to a heart
It
attack.
is.
Oh no, no,
Thank
I know,
God.
but I just
Yeah, yeah.
I was not expecting that.
No.
No, I was
Neither.
not.
All right, keep
No.
going. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And send in anything that you wish to send. If you send in recordings, that's always good. We'll try and play that. If you have preference as to which of us is to read what you send in, if you write it out, please let us know that as well. And we will do our best to do it. And please keep sending them in. It may take us some time getting it onto the show, but we will eventually play or read anything that gets sent in. So please do that.
Please do that.
Send
Please.
us in. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how we're doing. Bitch and
Hate
moan
mail
about our
accepted.
choices. Yes, indeed.
Hate mail accepted. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We are a little
your
behind
insights
the
or interpretations of
Exactly.
songs that we may have missed. So whatever you want.
a little behind the scenes on this. We are now back in the position of only having a few more to read. So we've got a few more. You've still got time before
Right.
all of you hobble the podcast by not doing your part and sending in your
Here
shit.
comes the guilt trip.
So, Matthew's very nice about it. I'm going to play bad cop. Fucking send the shit in, man. We want to hear it. You all like it. You all love it. We love it. Fucking, I don't care if you don't like it. We like it. Do it for us. We're not asking you
Yeah.
to pay. We don't have a Patreon.
Yeah,
We're not
Jordon.
locking content behind our no means no podcast /patreon.com bullshit, right?
All right.
All we ask of you is that you, the very person listening to this right now is like, I don't have anything to say. Sure you do. Sit down,
All right.
think about it. Every single person I've ever talked to who likes this band, it's just like drug trips. Everyone likes to talk about their acid stories.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to talk about their no means no stories. Be
Yeah.
that person. If
I'm
you've ever
just
been
a-
to Burning Man, you know
Yeah.
how interminable it is to listen to people talk to you about Burning Man.
Yep.
Be that guy. Be that
I'm just some
girl.
fucker sitting in his garage. I mean, for
That's right.
fuck's sake. Who
We
are you
want to
trying
hear from
impress
you.
here?
So, no means nothing podcast at gmail.com. We'd love to hear recordings, but we'll read this shit in our own dumb
Fuckers.
voice.
Sitting in the garage.
That's for sure.
I should also just do a shout out because I did it on the Facebook group, but not
Oh, yes,
everybody who's
please.
listening to this. So,
Jordan free.
yes, indeed. This very nice fellow who I had known on the internet for some time, and then it turns out, oh, you do a podcast? What's it about? No Means No. I love No Means No, and then he became a listener as well. And he remembered a story that I had told early episodes about not having involved myself in some Chinese tradesmen's after work durian party, which
Right.
and I only say they were Chinese because they were speaking Chinese, and it would have been a bit of an effort to probably involve myself in the conversation. But they're just sort of squatting there opening a durian. A durian, if you don't know what it is a very, very, some people find it absolutely repulsive smelling, very aggressive looking fruit. It is about the size of a rugby ball, and it's spiky as fuck. And some people say it smells like shit. Some people say it smells like propane.
Oh my god.
But anyway, Jeremy is
awesome.
originally from the Borneo part of Malaysia, so he knows his shit when it comes to durians, because that is the heartland of durians. Apparently, there are like 300 varieties or something like that. But this is the one, the stinky one's the one that makes it. He had things to say. He's like, he could tell that it was from Thailand because it was cut and not allowed to tree ripen and fall as they do in Malaysia. But anyway, he made a point. He's from Montreal, happened to be in Vancouver, and decided he needed to bring me a fucking durian. So
God,
we enjoyed a durian in the garage here. I still have, and I can still smell the seeds.
I was going to say, is there still a little odor of the...
Oh, you're gonna try to grow
durian?
one with the seeds? You're gonna
no, I'm not
grow
going to
one?
try and grow one. They take
Why
30
not?
30 feet, 40-foot tree. It's going to take some time. But maybe if I can get it growing, I might try and bonsai it or something like that.
There you go, bonsai durian.
See what it looks like. But the
durian jelly beans.
But Jeremy brought his buddy with me, who was also I had durian flavored things, and I think I'd had durian like that had already been separated from its husk. And so I was trying it, and he brought a buddy with him, and he was a durian virgin as well. In terms of actually cracking one open,
durian virgin,
and like it was very, very. It's really nothing to do with the smell. The taste has nothing to do with the smell. It's really just sort of a challenging combination of things it reminds you of by the time you get past it. And so what Simon there said was, I definitely taste the caramel that you guys are describing, because it definitely has that fruity, caramelly. But then after that, French onion soup that somebody put lychees in.
What the fuck?
And that's a fair cop.
Oh my god!
Wow. Well, that's a great fucking experience.
Thank you, Jeremy. And
that's
one
crazy.
of those experiences that would not have occurred were it not for No Means No. Oddly enough,
Right? Yeah.
Best fans in the world, motherfuckers.
Oh my god! That's
all right,
crazy.
everybody. We're gonna turn to round 2. What an interesting fucking round this is. God damn it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like this one.
I got a new drink.
Nice. What do you got?
Durian?
Well, the other one was like a sweetened, almost sort of quasi beer drink. This is actually a sangria.
Oh,
so it is a non-alcoholic sangria. It is called Sangria Señorial from Mexico. So I'm going to open that up. This is a lovely sort of somewhat wine non-alcoholic beverage.
Look at this.
And my whiskey was so big, I have not yet fucking finished it, even though I've been drinking it the whole time. So this is going to be a lit round, motherfuckers. All right. So round 2 here is My Roommate is Turning into a Monster off of Mama, 1982. Now, this won up against One Fine Day in episode 7. And that was unanimous. One Fine Day is a fine song, but I still stand behind that. I don't know about you guys. You still feel the same way?
I think so.
Yep. And it is going up against fucking whatever, Lullaby off of Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy, 1993, which interestingly is the lead-in song to Cats, Sex, and Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of weird for me listening to that because I always create a playlist of all these songs in order. So it was really weird for me to hear this song last and keep expecting to hear Cats, Sex, and Nazis. And yet that was first. Anyway.
You're doing it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So Lullaby off of Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy, 1993. That one won out against the eponymous No Means No, the weird B-side, off on episode 39. Now, Michelle, you were the dissenting voice on that.
I was going to say, I probably voted for the
Matthew and I went with Lullaby.
Right.
So we're going to get our comfy little pillows, our blankies, and our little teddy bears curl
Aw.
up for a second and listen to a little bit of this. We're going to listen to Rob sing us into a state of apoplexy.
You can't treat me like this. I don't have any tits. He sold the car, he's on the door. He says that he don't care no more. He's thrown the shade, he shut the blind. I think that he has lost his mind. I can't believe what I see. He's raised his hand against me. I can't believe what I see. He's raised his hand against me. I can't believe what I see. He's raising his hand against me. All around, people in the town, they be dancing in the street. Young and old, lame in the hole, they be dancing in the street. Everybody be moving. Everybody get high. Everybody be moving. Everybody get high.
All right. So, boy, comparing and contrasting these songs, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Right.
Jesus Christ. Like, what? There's nothing to relate in these songs. What do I want to say about my roommate is turning into a monster? This song fucking slays. And
Yeah.
I think this is the only song that actually starts or has, period, pure, like Rob sings a lot, but I think this is the only one that has just pure speaking, right? My roommate is
Yeah.
turning into a monster. His
Yeah.
eyes are turning bright green, right? Like that's
Sprechungsoi.
that's it. That's the only time I think we get something like that.
Sprechungsoi.
And then that bass line is just
Yeah.
so. You talk about tritones
Ominous.
a lot, Strangey, and the Jaws, relationship. This definitely has that boom, 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 boom. I think there are two
Wow.
bass lines going on here, and
There's
a
a
guitar.
guitar. Yeah.
And
No,
the
I know
guitar,
there's a
yeah,
guitar line,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's just the dark, like low bass with no bright tones at all. But there's a bass that's a little slappier in here as well. That's got slappy tones. So I think there's two bass lines
Slappy tones.
and a like brighter tones. It's got
Yeah, no, I know. what you
brightness
mean.
on it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, but there's always that
High-end,
underlying
high-end.
fuzz bass going on. Always. There's the really kind of on the surface guitar texture, but then
Yep,
there's a
yep.
slappy bass going on every once in a while. This song is so fucking good. It's so great. I think Andy said this is one of his favorite of the early No Means No songs. He loves this.
He loves that
Robin.
album.
Yeah, he
He
loves
thinks
that album.
that's
But
their
this
fucking
is one of the
album.
ones that he really would highlight as one of his favorites.
Oh, imagine
Not
it
that-
singing it. Oh my god.
Right.
Oh, come on. Don't
And
tease me.
this song is so fucking interesting. It's such a like. I went back and read my notes, so I don't need to like rehash what I thought the song was about. But basically, I still believe what I wrote before, which is this is a very it's like a song about an incel and a gaslighter, but written from the perspective of a male roommate who's in the place, like suddenly finding himself in the place of what it would be like to be like a woman in an abusive relationship, right? Like, oh fuck, here's this guy who's telling me not to just clean up my shit, even though they won't do anything, who's telling me not to fuck anybody else, right?
Right.
And just this, it's not literally turning into a monster. It's someone who's becoming so possessive and so and such a gaslighter. But on the other hand, it's also probably a song about just what it's like to have a really fucking shitty roommate who fucking sucks and is an asshole. And I think these guys are probably going through that. Reading through the book, listening to some of the places they lived, they probably dealt with a lot of fucking asshole roommates and total punks who wouldn't clean up after their shit and would just be hyped up on fucking whatever goofballs all the fucking time. But the lyrics in this are great. There's some really good examples of Rob's erudition. This all of his masks are caving in. That line in
All of his
particular,
what?
all of his masks are caving
Oh,
in.
masks.
That line fucking haunts me. I
It's
love
creepy.
that line. It's so good. It is so good. I there's something wrong with him. All his masks are caving in. It's so fucking great. It's
Yeah,
so
that's fucked up.
evocative. It's
Little
so fucked up.
shout out to Canadian listeners here. It totally reminds me of like some experimental 70s animation from the NFB.
Oh, nice. There's these weird contradictions too. Like he says, his clothes are piled neatly on the floor, right? Like not strewn about, but piled neatly on the floor, right? Like that's so fucking
cleaned his clothes,
weird.
not cleaning himself.
That's right. His eyes are closed, but he never sleeps.
Mhm.
He's breathing deep. He's got something on his mind. He can't seem to
He's got
unwind,
something on
right?
his mind. Yeah.
It's so ominous. And the way that Rob does that, don't you fuck nobody, yells, it's so like, it's so greasy and awful and hissy. It's so demonic. Such a great, more insular pairing to Red Devil, right? Like this is a smaller song in the sense, not smaller in its magnitude, but in the sense of like what it's talking about. It's talking about an individual, whereas Red Devil's talking about a fucking
Red
force.
Devil. Oh my God.
But there's something very parallel in these songs to me and the way that they're delivered. He's sold the car. He's locked the door. He says he don't care no more. He's drawn the shade. He's shut the blinds. I think he's lost his mind. It's just this gaslighting sense of someone who's trapping you with them. And it really it feels in a sense like the reason I think it's a feminist song, and it's somebody who's like suddenly feeling what it's like to be a woman in an abusive relationship is when Rob says that I don't have tits. You can't talk to me like this. Like the guy the narrator of the song is also an asshole. The narrator of the song is someone who's like, hey, I'm not a woman. You can't treat me like this. It's someone who's being put in the place of being a woman. That they're far more subjected to this experience than someone who just has an asshole roommate. That's far more common for a woman to be in an abusive relationship. And I think Rob makes that very explicit in that line. You can't treat me like this. I don't have any tits. Like, I'm not a woman. Which is him acknowledging.
If I did, it'd be okay.
That's right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's him acknowledging, like, well, if I was a woman, like, yeah, I guess I'd expect to be treated like a piece of shit, right? So, because knowing what we know about Rob and how attuned they were to feminism of the period, that's very intentional, right? Like, this is an intentional line that he's putting in there.
Yeah.
And so I think this is about someone experiencing what it's like to be abused and gaslit by a fucking incel asshole, and yet also be an asshole himself and go, I'm a man. Why are you fucking doing this? This is ridiculous. Especially that part, like, I can't believe what I see. He's raising his hand against me, right? Like, that's an abusive relationship. But I'm a man. Why are you doing that? I can't believe you're doing that. I'm a guy. What the fuck are you doing? But that would be expected if you're a woman to be in an abusive relationship. That was so much more, not expected, but that's so much more common. So I really think this is in its heart. This is one of their feminist masterpieces of their early period, right? In the way that Hunt the She-Beast is sort of awkward. This one is a little more subtle and ironic in its feminism, but also musically, this song is just fucking crazy. It's so good. It's so tight. The drumming in this, John, way back then in 1982, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
This song, the drumming in the song is fucking crazy. It's so textured. It's so layered. It's so
It ain't right, man.
never wanting to just be like, well, I'm just going to play. This song would be unremarkable if it weren't for John's playing. I'm not saying that Rob's not great. I'm not saying everything else is not great, but it would sort of be unremarkable were it not for the texture and what John is, the lead that John is putting under this. It's what elevates this from being a pretty good song to being like, fucking Jesus Christ.
But
what the fuck is
it's
this?
still quite spare playing in a certain way in terms of like how it's restrained. It doesn't bring itself out in front or anything
but
like that.
But it never does what you expect.
It's not frilly.
It never does what you expect, though. That's what I love about it. It's not just trying to play the beat. It's never just
It's
trying
jazz
to carry.
drumming.
It is jazz drumming. It's
It
jazz
is.
drumming, but
It's
with
exactly
a
what that
with
is.
a punk aesthetic that
Yep.
is like, I mean, Jesus Christ, this guy this early was
Yeah.
already one of the best fucking drummers
Oh yeah, he was
of
like
all
20.
time. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Fuck you,
Okay,
John.
so Lullaby, I adore this song. I think a lot of people will just kind of throw this on the bin and go like, what a curiosity, whatever. I adore this song. I think this song is so beautiful. I think it's a great interstitial. I think it's beautiful. It comes out of Slowly Melting, and the lead into this from Slowly Melting, and the how Slowly Melting literally melts into this, and there's that
Was it
deconstruction.
one of the ones that's not on the LP?
It's not on the LP.
Right.
God damn it! For fuck's
Yeah.
sake, it's why like the CD is so superior to the LP of this. But that there is almost nothing harder to me than in any No Means No song than those drops of the boom boom, where it's just like John is hitting the snare, is hitting the I don't know, the toms and the
Timpani or
cymbals at the it sounds symphonic. It sounds symphonic. How there's like there's how Rob is hitting these high notes to make this bell, but then John is doing this bass bell that's just like fuck. It drops me right into my soul. It brings me so present when that happens. This song makes me stand up and pay attention in a very subtle way, but it's very direct. There's something about this song that it is a lullaby. It's beautiful, but I don't know, man. This song is like, it's fucking beautiful. I love this song. I just love it. I think it's gorgeous. I think people sleep on this song too much. Does it hold up on its own? I don't know, but I never skip this song. Every time I hear it, I'm kind of like, how the fuck did they come up with this? And of course, it's a cover. It's a cover of a cover
Kind
of
of.
a cover, kind
Right.
of,
Right.
but it's not. Like, it references other things. This idea, this turn of phrase of the hero is dead and the children are in bed. And for those of us that are parents, you know that like you read these stories over and over to your children. Normally, the hero is triumphant. So to have this thing of the hero dead, but the children sleeping, which is really a time of celebration. It really is this sense of freedom that, you know, everyone's partying in the streets. It's not, and I don't mean that even in a trite way. There's something about the human experience that's very much like, that's a fucking meaningful time when the children are asleep. But to have the hero, the hero be dead is this subversion of a trope that is so buried deeply in us. And that, you know, the lame and the whole, there's all these contradictions in this, these subversions of what's normal, and yet a real sense of celebration, a real sense of community in a weird way. I just think this song is beautiful and haunting.
Hey.
Haunting and Rob, like the way he does that, like la 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 ba da da do 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 like that is so gorgeous. It's so fucking gorgeous, and his singing is so earnest and direct in parts of it, and then so subtle and soft in other parts. I just think this is a virtuoso performance by this band. I think the drumming is incredible. I think even Rob's ability to play a single note, but with such variation and texture and tone on a single note, the way he hits that so differently, and it sounds like a bell, and then they go into that ba-bong and just like fucking hit me hard with that and bring me into it. And the way they raise up half a step at the end to give us that last verse is so profound. It's beautiful. The song is fucking beautiful, and it leads out of what it was in perfectly, and it leads into Catsup Nazis perfectly. It's a perfect interstitial. It's the happy bridge of the latter half of this album, and for sure.
Wow.
And it's fucking, if you have not given this its due, you need to. As a fan of this album, as a fan of this band, this song deserves its due. It is really layered in its performance, and I think it's easy to overlook it. I think it's easy to think it's simple and basic, but it's in the nuance of what they do at every turn that makes this song gorgeous. And I think it's virtuosic in that. I think it's virtuosic in the way that they do so much with so little in this short little bit. I fucking love this song. So yeah, there's my round one. All right, Michelle.
Yeah, once again, I gotta follow your ass. Jesus. How cool and weird is Roommate? It's so uncomfortable. Who writes a song about this shit? Someone paranoid, someone speaking from experience of what I can imagine being having the worst roommate situation ever. This being on Mama, one of their best albums ever, you can see right out of the gate how musically mature they are and how with just the fucking two of them, they can create an original landscape. If I was at a bar or venue and saw this and heard it, I can guarantee you I'd be paying attention. It's
Yeah.
so bent and intriguing as hell and made with, like I said, two guys. Yes, there's other instruments layered upon it, but it's really two guys.
Two guys. That's it.
Highlights for me are the "Don't you fuck nobody else" and the next line of "What's this? I don't have tits." What in the hell here? This is just completely fucked up. And in a roundabout way, this kind of reminds me of Dad, where you're invited into the house to witness how shitty it all is.
Yeah.
Right?
Good pull. That's
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know. When I wrote that down, I was like, fucking
Yeah,
hey.
100%.
Yeah, I'm going to impress the boys. Yeah, they're inviting you in to see how horrifying it is. This song is telling a story, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. On to Lullaby. Gosh, it kind of sounds like Cat, Sex, and Nazis with a few example of borrowing ideas from other songs. I just kind of linked it to that. I mean, I know it's not anything like
No,
it,
but I get what you're
but
saying.
I like that they're
It's a
that they're-
referential.
they're-
It refers
yeah,
outside of itself in
yes,
interesting
that's,
ways.
That's what I meant, and I can't write like that. So yes, thank you. Rob really shines in this, and he's front and center with a passionate performance. The song is really intimate, and even Roommate is too. Really,
Yeah.
it reminds me of
Too intimate.
yeah. Lullaby reminds me, and I might have said this the first round. It just sounds like, and you said this, Jordan, the church bells, church bell tower instruments. They're called carillons. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I think a rendition of this would sound really cool.
Yeah.
Both of these
There's
pieces
one in
are.
Victoria.
Is there?
A
Yeah,
carillon,
yeah. Is it how do you say it?
Carillon.
Carillon. Okay, all right.
That's how they always said in Victoria, but yeah.
No,
French would be
that's
carillon,
cool.
but I don't know.
Carillon. All right, both of these pieces are pretty pared down, but there's still so much substance to them, and that's the sign of some good musicianship there.
Nice. Matthew, can I ask you to pause for a second? Because I really have to pee, but I don't want to miss what you have to say.
Yeah,
but I'm about
totally.
to die, so I'll be right back. Much better. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. Where are you at, Matthew, with these two bangers?
I liked that Lullaby on one side, and then the lyric, his eyes are closed, but he never sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side. I like finding these little links between the random pairings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder whether the roommate is Slade. Whether this is an internal thing, like these are different parts of himself.
Interesting.
This sleeping monster.
Maybe it was John. Remember, Rob said he used to kick John out of the room.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, it certainly can be more literally about the experience of having. I think it's about depression. I've been that roommate, and I've had that roommate. You know, like when I have been not jealous and not abusive, but like sitting at home, definitely with the blind shut, just watching TV and smoking pot and unemployed, depressed, and idiot roommate comes home with a bunch of people or something. Me. Me.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah,
I'm just like, hating myself, hating everything. And then this guy comes in and everything is all, what are you doing, man? I'm going to get to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, fuck off, like.
Right. Yeah, right. You've been the monster.
You've been the monster. And then,
invite nobody else.
Don't you fuck nobody else. I have definitely had a roommate where I had to listen to a series of encounters.
Oh, God.
It's like, oh Christ, yeah. Don't bring another one home. I just don't. I don't want.
You forgot to hang
you.
the tie
I don't
out
want
on the
her.
doorknob.
I just would like to sleep and not have to listen to that.
Yeah, that ain't right.
Yeah, that can be inconsiderate. But anyway, yeah, I do wonder whether this is like a part of Rob who,
eyes are closed, but he never sleeps. I mean, there's a lot of like this is the part of me. This is the deep brooding part of me. Like everything's in order except myself.
Right.
I'm not clean. I don't
Wow.
brush my teeth.
Yeah, I like that reading.
Everything else is order. And then I'm sitting in the dark room with my eyes closed, just waiting to fucking rip into whatever comes near me.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I don't know. The abusive stuff. Yeah, I can totally see that. And but yeah, I don't know whether it is a story about the roommate who is actually. It just seems so. It really turns on a dime, and I think just sort of the explosion of suppressed anger more than jealousy. Although talking about his
eyes are turning green.
eyes are
Color
turning
of jealousy.
green. The
Yeah,
jealousy.
yeah.
But it could be jealousy of somebody who's going out and being
Healthy.
social. It could be
That's right.
your attention. Let's hang out. It could be like an old friend.
That's right.
You've moved in together, and then that friend is like moving on, and you were just not getting your shit together.
So I just wanted to share the rant.
Yeah. Couldn't
Oh,
happen.
man.
Anyway, to
About me.
compare them, I mean, Roommate is really dark, greasy, oily. It's very spare.
Greasy. Yes.
Despite the fact that the drums are complex but not complicated.
Right.
There's not a lot of Baroque stuff going on. There's very, very precise. There's no fat to trim there. It's
Right.
really, really like well considered, not showing off. It's just what it needs to be. Both songs really have a great atmosphere. They really sort of are connected to
Nice.
perfect connection of music and lyrics, I would say.
Yep.
Lullaby is exactly what it is. It doesn't really mean anything. I don't think, nothing super complicated. It is
Nothing
very
direct, right?
No.
Like it's indirect.
It's repetitive.
It might be. Yeah.
It could be.
It's soothing.
It's a feeling, not a
Soothing.
thought.
A lot of children's lullabies and children's rhymes were about disturbing things. The hero is dead. It doesn't really matter. It's just the delivery. It's the repetition. It's the delivery by a trusted person sort of thing. It doesn't matter what it actually is a lot of the time. But yeah, I really like that. There's so much crescendo and decrescendo. I mean, it's really just sort of like the breathing the even breathing as you go to sleep. And, because it's no means no. And because, the hero's dead and the children are in bed, and then like the reference to dancing in the street and everything like that, you want to find that it's sardonic or tongue in cheek in some way, but for the life of me, I can't figure out how.
I don't sense it either in this one. It feels
Yeah.
so not earnest is the wrong word,
Yeah.
but evocative. I don't know. Yeah, there's something
Yeah.
different in what it's doing.
It's really beautiful, and it is earnest. Like, and there isn't a lot of that. There isn't much or any of kind of the other side
Yeah.
of it too much. It's kind of hard to believe it's on Mr. Happy, although it makes sense that it's connected to Slowly Melting in some ways because
It's a bridge, right? It's a
It
bridge
is a
into
bridge.
cat, sex, and Nazis, right? Like it's a mouche bouche before you
Yeah.
get dunked in the pool.
Amused bush. Yeah.
for sure. The drumming is as I said, it's really just lean in both of these songs. Let's see highlights. Yeah, actually, I should say that Roommate really does. In Victoria has a bunch of old houses. The types of houses in places like Fernwood are probably what punks and young people could afford. People didn't used to rent apartments that I knew as often as they would rent like the floor of an old house. And so it'd be sort of old,
wow.
an old feeling. You might even get the whole house with your buddies, like your punk houses and that sort of stuff. So it really does evoke like the sort of dank feeling of a rental house where people put flags and dark shit over the windows so you can smoke pot in there without anybody
Yeah,
looking
right.
inside. Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
yeah.
This is of a particular time in one's life that many of us have experienced.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
Everybody has had or been that roommate at some point.
Exactly,
Even if
and
not
maybe
not all aspects, but definitely like you
Yeah,
relate
yeah.
to both sides.
100%.
Highlights. I love don't you, the
don't you
It's
fuck nobody else.
nobody else.
And really,
Yeah.
just like a
Yeah.
snake, like a demon.
It's a fucking snake.
It kind of comes out of
Shit.
nowhere, and that's what makes me think that it's somebody who's just seething of their like irritating up, happy doing things roommate, and then just snap and you get the fuck out of here. As I say, I've definitely been that roommate. Yeah, and then it just totally turns ominous, just like turns on a dime, and it's descriptive, and it's like, oh, I'm kind of weirded out, and I'm like, oh shit, that's actual danger. Kind of
Yeah.
Raising his hand.
Low lights, not really anything. I really like this song. I think it's exactly as it should be. Highlights for Lullaby, I really like that baboosh, that really like low sound, which I have always liked, but I like even more now that I have built this little room into my garage.
Right.
I think I've only recorded one podcast with actually having a wall in here, so I am now in kind of an office-y type studio thing, which is about 6 feet across and 18 feet long, and I have big speakers in the front and a big screen, speakers all along the sides, and a subwoofer, and I put a little chair at the sweet spot about halfway along, and that's where I listen to today. It's pretty nice. It's not a lazy boy, but it's a pretty comfy thing that I got for free off the internet.
Yeah, comfy chair.
Yeah.
Gotta put a comfy chair in there.
I love how, I like the little octave jump, and I like how Rob's voice still, it's smooth, but it does get a little rough here and there. I mean, just a little bit more aggressive at bits and pieces.
A lot of texture.
And I guess the only low light for Lullaby is that it is definitely kind of dependent on the songs that bracket it. It's not as difficult as I thought it would be to listen to in isolation, but certainly you kind of you miss what came before and what's going to come after.
Miss the bread from the sandwich.
I especially miss what came before. The disintegration into Lullaby is so gorgeous.
Yeah,
that it is. It's I enjoyed it a lot more on its own than I thought I would, just like last time. But listen, I did take the time to also listen to it with Slowly Melting, and that just adds such a tremendous bit, right? It's that dripping icicle at the end that becomes its own ice sculpture, right? It's so it does amp it up,
like a dripping.
Yeah,
dripping
it's great.
Exactly.
Well, and there's the disintegration of Slowly Melting is so great and so long and so its own fucking song, right? At the end, how it falls apart. That then to have it coalesce into that ding 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 is it's a catharsis of this song that you just went through, which is its own catharsis. Yeah, it's fucking definitely. I think you're right. It is well served by where it is on the album more than most songs.
The dripping icicle, or just the dripping off your eve after there's been a storm.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I see what you mean by that. That's great.
All right. Well, we got to vote. So I'll go first.
No, we haven't done
I don't know where this is going either.
Stuff, have we?
Oh no!
Is it round 2? I guess it's round two, huh?
Round 2.
Oh shit! Great.
Yeah, we forgot the part. Oh, you're right.
Listen to me trying to be all rushing through this shit. So oeuvre.
Yeah, you already peed.
How does this? That's right. How does this fit in? No, I'm not in any hurry. How does this fit? So roommate. God, I mean, it's very indicative of what's to come, right? So these songs off of Mama, it's hard to say where they fit in the oeuvre, but this is a song, as I already mentioned, that John demonstrates his absolute fucking mastery of playing a kind of drumming under this kind of music that nobody else was doing, as far as I know. I'm sure that's not exactly true, but in my experience anyway, that no one else was doing, that elevates the song. You've got Rob with this, in my view, a very a feminist song, but also a very, like, I think there's room for both interpretations, that it's also a song about oneself, as you talk about, Matthew. It's Slade coming out, right? You can be both the roommate and the roomie in a sense. And that sort of ambiguity is amazing. So I think it definitely fits in the oeuvre. I think this is a great of the Mama songs. This is one of the handful that I think absolutely presages what comes later, right? Like this song sets the stage for what we hear going forward, whereas some of the songs don't. right? They were playing some of the songs. They don't go that direction, and that's it. That's
Yeah.
you get it on Mama. That's it. Or maybe one down, two to go. You hear the outtakes, and that's it. But this one finds its way. This one, it has the echoes. So in that sense, I think it fits. It's a
Definitely
it's a
one
good
of the strongest
precursor
on Mama for sure.
for sure.
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure. Lullaby. I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's one of their weird bridges. It again shows like it's of their oeuvre in the sense that you're like, what the fuck is this? How is this band doing this all of a sudden out of what it just came from and where it's going to go to? That is very No Means No. But if I were to just play this on its own, I don't know that it's very indicative of No Means No. But the fact that it's not, that you can't put it into a box, that makes it very No Means No. So I've been very
Mhm.
conflicted about that, right? Like it is a prime example of that part of the band. The part of the band that says, we refuse to be classified. Fuck you. You cannot put me in a box. You think you can put me in a box? Try this one.
Yeah.
Listen to this. What box does this go in? Is that punk? No. Is this prog? Nah, not really. Is this hardcore? Nah, not at all. What the fuck is this? You tell me, right? They're daring you.
Jazzcore.
Jazzcore. Nope. It ain't that one. Like, you can't fucking put a label on the shit. And so in that sense, it's very much of their oeuvre. But
Noir.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how it fits.
Fucking cool is what it is.
Well, it is. And that's why it does fit. The fact that it doesn't fit is what makes it fit into its own little
Right.
own little niche. In terms of the newbie question, Roommate, I've never have, but I would be open to playing Roommate for a newbie. I think this is a great song. I don't think it was off-putting. I think it's groovy. I think it's dark and interesting. So I could imagine playing this over Lullaby for somebody. But Lullaby, I might play for a different sort of person. If I thought they were more interested in kind of
They needed
weird,
sleep.
no, if I thought they were into like
I'm
more
just kidding.
textural,
Just kidding.
experimental, less
Yeah.
song structures, and
Mhm.
wanted to hear something interesting and weird, I might play that one. But neither of these would be songs that I would actually reach to play for a newbie. These are not on my
Right,
list
right,
at all.
Right. Right.
But in the czar rule, I actually don't know. It would depend on the person who I would reach for. There'd be different people that each of these songs would be more appropriate if I only had these two songs. But out of their catalog, neither of these songs would be newbie songs for me, I would have to say. Michelle.
All
round
right.
two.
I accidentally think I read some of this the last time I talked, so don't give me any jib. I'm going to skip
No
the first
shit.
part of this.
No
All right.
shit.
So that's just what's happening. All right. I'm going to jump right into the what I play these things because I fucked up, and I need some understanding here.
I got it.
I might have to play the Chet rule here and probably pick one over the other just because it's more interesting to listen to. That's why I play stuff for people, because there's something that's going to grab your ass. Neither of these would be pieces that I would play for a newbie. That's for sure.
But what's the Chet rule? I didn't hear which one you'd pick.
Oh, the Chet rule would be. I didn't say which one.
you didn't.
It would be Roommate.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So I figured.
yeah, that one.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Matthew, how about you? Round two.
Yeah, I think Roommate is definitely representative. Music, structure, humor. It ticks all the boxes.
Yep.
Lullaby, despite being very beautiful, it is a. I won't say it's a curio, but it is. It's unique and it fits in very well where it is. It wouldn't stand very well on its own without the context. I mean, it does, but it is not No Means No as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say as important in their body of work, Roommate is very important because I think it's top two, top three easily on Mama, and definitely more indicative of what is to come.
Yeah.
Lullaby maybe less so, just because
Yeah.
not without. I think it's of a piece. It is it's great on the album where it is, but it's telling that it was excised with Slowly Melting as well.
Right.
Kind of
Right.
needs it. I think I would play Roommate for sure, for definitely a good slate of people, largely for the sense of humor, and just listen more carefully to to the music. Like, most of the music is really brilliant, but most of the drama comes from the lyrics, despite the fact that the playing is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So it is I think it would be a conversation piece. I think it might play it for a group of people more than one person. Would I play Lullaby? Not on its own, for sure. Chat roll, definitely roommate.
Yeah.
Chet roll roommate.
All right. Well, let's roll into round 3.
Would you like Chet as your roommate?
I have
would.
the itching feeling this is going to be a
lot of
unanimous
skulls.
vote. So for me, I'm going to go first. It's Roommate by A Million Miles. Roommate for sure is the more
Oh!
important song. I think it's more important in their oeuvre. I think it's the better overall song. I adore Lullaby. I absolutely adore it. I never skip it. I will listen to it a million more times in my lifetime, but it's not an important element of their catalog. It shouldn't go through over Roommate for sure. And I don't prefer it. I think Roommate is I don't know. It ticks more boxes, I guess.
Wow.
That said, I love Lullaby. As you heard, I feel very passionate about it. I feel very tender to that song in many ways. It scratches a certain itch for me, but Roommate is a better song in my view. So that's my vote. Michelle?
Oh wow, I'm thrilled to hear you say that. I thought it was going to go a different way with you. I am also wholeheartedly voting for Roommate. I like weird. I like uncomfy.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Matthew?
Yeah, Roommate for sure. I like that they both are very, very evocative of a certain atmosphere. They both do what they intend to do, but Roommate also tells a story, and I think it makes you think more. Whereas Lullaby, it does what a lullaby does. It does not stimulate a lot of deeper thinking unless you force yourself to do it, because it's a lullaby. It's supposed to put you to sleep.
Well, except for that bass drop, man, that doesn't put me to sleep. That brings me right into my body. But,
no, it's very pretty. I wouldn't say it's intended to be a lullaby, but it's definitely a meditation.
I would like to re-petition our listeners. If you've written off Lullaby, go and listen to it again, and maybe with Slowly Melting, maybe listen to it as that, but really try to hear its subtleties. Hear Rob's singular note that he's playing, and hear the variation with which he plays
I don't
it.
want to listen to either of those songs because I can't get them on vinyl.
Well, that's true. Can't get them on vinyl, can't get them on Spotify, but most of you listening to this have some way to listen to it. Go to fucking YouTube.
That's right.
But it's worth your time. That song is fucking great.
That's beautiful what you're saying there.
But hey, Roommate wins. So Roommate apparently ponied up another month's rent somehow, found its way through. And Lullaby, we're just tucking it in the corner and probably covering its face with the pillow, unfortunately. Hello, Goodbye is also waving goodbye while Catsup, Sex, and Nazis has lived to convince another incel that it knows the truth. And both of those songs will be going into the finale. And I guess finale. I think round 3 will be the finale.
Catsup can really hang out with that Roommate.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah, which one would you pick over those
I think
two?
The Roommate is for sure reading a book called Cats, Sex, and Nazis,
or watching TV,
or watching Tucker interview Putin, something like that. So anyway, this has been another episode of our really super dumb podcast. No Means No Thing is produced and edited by yours truly, Jordon Flato. Co-hosting and amazing podcast graphics are by Matthew Kowalik. Yes. Michelle Strangers is our third and everyone's favorite, especially Andy's favorite co-host and official Foley artist. Shout out to our official and adorable mascot, Teddy. Thank you to No Means No for the use of stock taking as our intro and outro music.
Oh.
I'll be your dog. You be my queen.
I
All
want to
right.
be your dog.
We're gonna do the little draw, and I'm nervous because we're running out of songs. So what
Hey
the fuck's
man,
gonna come up?
there's gonna be something in here that's gonna be a pants pooper. I just know it.
Oh well, this
Where
is
is
a
it?
fucking no question, motherfucker. Sorry, but it's super easy. Good one, but
Oh yeah.
super easy. I don't like this next one though. I mean, I do. I like both of them very much, but I don't want to compare them. So there you go. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have our next week's. Michelle, did you see the second round?
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not so sure about that
And
one.
those are
but
for
I told you I know how to
episode
vote as soon as
64,
I
right?
see it.
episode
Yeah.
64. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That first one's easy peasy, pumpkin cheesy. But
Yep.
But that second one, I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit more
I
carefully.
don't.
I don't hear the stomps of Godzilla feet, I have to say. I mean, they are. Actually, that's not true. That's the second matchup especially. No, that first match. Anyway, there's some great fucking songs here, folks. Some great fucking songs. Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, Jesus. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate your patronage, although it's really nothing because unless you've sent us something, you're not a patron. You're just a listener and freeloader. So send us in something. Send us an email. Send us a story. We want to hear from them. No, I don't mean it. What I really mean to say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, fuck off.